Fine. It's tough because you're at home all the time. You've got everybody here, and if there are things going on that you can't control. But at the end of the day, I think some of the stuff that we've done with clients around the planning and being proactive has meant that we haven't had a massive influx of people saying, "Oh, panic! I want to sell everything." So that's been really positive.
Good. So how did you start communicating all of this about how you were going to be working? How did you start that process with clients, and when did you start it?
We probably started that about 2.5 weeks ago.
Okay.
And as a business, we got laptops for everybody.
Yeah.
And we were set up with VPN so that everybody was capable of working from home.
So that's a big staff you've got. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about the 5 advisors already had laptops, so that's pretty straightforward. We talk about the rest of the support staff, 7 or 8 staff.
Yeah.
So we've rented them, not buying them. We rent them. And that seems to work very well. We've got Microsoft Teams set up so that we can do video calls and group stuff. We've got Zoom set up, so we do a Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock Zoom virtual drink in the pub. So
fantastic.
There's a couple of aspects here. One is about trying to keep morale of staff and the contact, because there are a couple of employees who are single in a flat home, so that contact is quite important. And then of course there's being able to facilitate the client's stuff. So that has been through a series of proactive emails, even when you're announcing market drops. It's been evolving that to look at some of the behavioural stuff.
Yeah.
Our next set of communications will be looking at that to try and take away from the bad news aspect and help people plan.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of that. I wanted to talk to you about that. The consumer press, journalists have a job to do, and it's always to have a headline with an exclamation mark at the end, So with the stock market going down, it's been a brilliant time for them to say your pension funds have been decimated. You should have been buying annuities, that sort of thing, because if you're in a drawdown, you've got no chance of having that pot of money, blah, 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 blah. So they're filling that space, with scaremongering, I think, not very sensible information in the consumer press.
Yeah.
So have you noticed any of your clients coming to you to say they're scared or worried about, pension funds being decimated?
Not really. We've put something in our assumptions. So we have like an assumptions document that goes out to the client. So not only do we have the initial planning meeting and ongoing planning meetings where we scenario test a 40% drop and nothing recurring. Very rarely do we have a client who's ever in the risk where they're going to have a 40% drop.
Yeah.
But we had that stock market condition. So we said, well, we've mirrored 40%. It's fallen, getting on for 40%. Your portfolio's fallen by 12. You're still in the blue. And we could do another 40%. And what's that look like? You're still in the blue.
Yeah.
That perspective, the market fall aspect is a really strong message to take to the client. And if you combine that with some of the analysis from previous stock market falls and the speed of recovery afterwards, so there is pain, but then that being the market and that speed of recovery has been, enlightening for a couple of clients just to say, well, oh, right, okay, I see the reason why you wouldn't make any significant changes.
Yeah. So
that's been really positive. But also, there's a lot about sequencing risk. Now, sequencing risk is the erosion of a fund in negative market conditions, which means that your fund runs out quickly, right? And the focus is only on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you focus on that, you've also got the sequencing risk the other way, which is just as likely to happen, where money grows and grows and grows and grows, and you haven't done the things that you wanted to do. Okay?
Yeah.
So to focus on one or the other of those is not a sensible approach. The grown-up discussion that we have with clients is, look, when we hit something like this, and we will, we're going to have a discussion about some of your discretionary spending. And what things are you willing to give up in order to offset that and allow the funds to recover.
Right.
And that can be strategic. So how much do you hold in cash?
Mm-hmm.
Could be, right, well, do you need to buy a new car this year?
Mm-hmm.
For a year, 2 years? Are you going to have a big holiday every year, or should we pare that back every 2 years? So that people can make active decisions. And so what we've got a situation there where people are at home, they can't spend the money because the holidays have been cancelled, so they got the money back. They can't go out to the pub, they can't go out to restaurants, they might have the occasional, but this, and so, okay, are you spending the money you haven't? No. Okay, so is there any point taking out the portfolio? No. Crystallizing a loss. So what we're going to do is either I'm going to reduce it, and we'll see how it goes the next couple of months, and then I can reduce it further. Or some clients even say, well, I'm going to stop taking the pension income because I've got this cash buffer that you talked about us having, and I'm going to live off that for the next 6 months, and then we'll start trickling in where we're going to take income from. So
really, Matthew, what you're saying is you're actually quite active now in monitoring all your clients' portfolios. So even though you might not be doing any particular proactive action, you are actively monitoring it in this environment.
Yeah. And I think we get very much head up on the investment performance stuff. Okay. And that's important. And, the 10% drop notifications, that's all very stressful, trying to get all that out, which is completely wrong for the client's own mind, because behavioral finance side of things, they're thinking, oh shit, what do I do now? But if you actually have a grown-up conversation away from the finance, focusing on the plan and focusing on them, in scary markets, the biggest thing a client needs is a hug. Yes, we've hit a bump in the road. It's a pretty painful bump. You know what? You can still do everything. It might get a bit close to the wire in 10, 15 years' time for you, but I would call that a slow-moving disaster. So some of the small changes we can make now will make some big differences there.
Yeah.
And there is always a solution to every problem we have. So you're not going to run out of food on the table. You might not be able to do the new kitchen this year.
Yeah, but you can model that with a cash flow modelling, can't you?
Yeah, so you can do that, and that conversation is the thing that the client really values, because at the moment in the current environment, they're not really worried about their portfolios.
Yeah.
On their risk, it's, am I going to survive?
Yeah.
Am I going to survive? Are my kids going to be okay? Am I going to get my money back from my holiday? And oh yeah, there's my investment portfolio.
Yeah.
So, our priority is obviously very much, in the traditional sense, it's the money. It's the money. But if we look wider, it's not. It's the individual. It's the plan. So can we still? We can't deal with the health thing about, are you safe? Are you okay? You keep you safe, keep well. Is there anything that we can do to help you during this time? And by the way, we're still offering service. We can do your client financial planning, and I can show you you're still in the blue, and there might be some strategic stuff we need to do. We can do it now. Oh yes, I'd like to do that now for peace of mind. Thank you very much. Or no, let's just leave it as it is and look at it in a couple of months' time when things have become a bit more so. Fine. But you're not pushing something on the client. You are simply saying that we're here for you. We've got all these facilities. We've got the video conferencing now. We've got cash flow modeling that can sort of give that reassurance and peace of mind.
Yeah.
And if you want it. And I think every phone call that I've made off the back of that has been a case of, basically 90% of them is, I'm not going to make a change. No, I'm not worried about it. We've looked at it. Really appreciate the call.
That's great. What about over the next few months? Are you sort of anticipating, in terms of business, bringing on new clients or anything? And if you are, how will you go about finding them? The face-to-face thing.
Yeah, well, we can do this. We can do this sort of approach. I think it's going to be hard, new business-wise, that there are some sort of prospects going through the pipeline, and we are fortunate enough as a business to be pretty robust in that we don't need a lot of new business.
Yeah.
So in that respect, we're quite lucky. But what I anticipate is some of the stuff that has been going through the system will eventually come through the system. It's taken some time to get information through from providers and that, and just keeping clients in the loop, saying, look, it's taken a bit longer than normal. Fine. Finding new clients after this, I think during a period of lockdown, that's going to be quite challenging because people won't. I'm not sure they're ready to make change. So unless they're quite switched on, they've got a load of money in cash and they want to invest the money. So now in the market is a pretty good time to think about putting money in. The majority of people are going to sit back, I think, until the end of the quarantine, and then they'll either be looking at their existing advisor who hasn't been proactive and done the job, or who hasn't got the financial model, which means they're sustainable and they go out of business.
Yeah.
Who then I want a second opinion. I'm not very happy. Or you get people say, well, look, there's a change of circumstances now. I need to have some guidance because I was putting myself during this period that I didn't have the right stuff in place. I don't want to feel like that again.
Yeah.
How do I deal with it?
I think so. It's very much going to be the latter. I think you will find you're going to get more referrals now. People are going to be talking to each other, the friends and so on, and trying to reassure each other. And then they'll say, speak to my financial planner, Matthew, because he will put your minds at rest. So I think, over the next few months, you might see more, come to you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It will be interesting to see that. And I think there's some key points as well. Maybe you've got time to see seminars now and stuff like that. So you go through all these stuff. But I'm generally a positive person.
Yeah.
So I think if you can get that positivity on the client, even in bad times, yes, it's pretty crap at the minute. Absolutely. But it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yet. but if it's the end of the world, we've got more things to worry about than money. So that's different.
Exactly.
It's not the end of the world. We knew it was coming. We've been talking about it for a couple of years. We didn't know when it would happen and how quick it would happen. We've got something that triggered it.
Yeah.
You just need to belt up, stay safe, and we'll sort it all out. We will sort it together.
Yeah, perfect.
Activity, that's what people want, because they don't want to be worrying about that side of things when they've got other stuff to worry about.
Yeah.
So if you get that bit away, well, they can just breathe a sigh of relief and say, well, Matthew's got that sorted.
Exactly. Good. Thank you. Is there anything else that you want to add? Any particular message about?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just, my only tip is just to be proactive. You know, there is bad news, but don't shy away from giving the bad news.
Yeah.
And try and help the client put it into perspective.
Yeah.
Because as situations like this, people's time horizons become very short. They narrow them. And you're saying, well, look, we've talked about working together for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. 1 month, that is going to be like this. Over 30, 40 years, it's going to be more or less a straight line. And if you can incorporate that in your communication and what you impart to your clients, then I think they'll look at a different perspective. And you are effectively, as a planner and an advisor, you are there to help the client make good decisions, but also to prevent them making bad ones.
Yeah.
And that is the key here: stopping client making poor decisions, because that is more detrimental than maybe in the good times not getting it quite right.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Good.